my dear listeners, stay with me to get the spoilers first and subscribe to the channel. Let's find out what's going to happen on Y&R. Victor calls Nikki home. Nick goes crazy. The Young and the Restless story. The newest Young and the Restless spoilers hint at a big change in the Newman family, starting with Victor Newman losing his temper. Current reports say that Victor might finally ask Nikki to come home when there is a big family problem. And that problem is Nick Newman. Nick is in Vegas dealing with the Met clerk mess. But the spoilers say he is keeping something from the people who care about him and that his drug addiction is getting worse day by day. That means that Victor's call home might not be romantic at all at first time. It could be desperate. It could be about staying alive. The timing is terrible because Victor and Nikki are already in a bad spot. Spoiler coverage says that Nikki didn't agree with Victor's plans, that Victor went too far with the Jack Abbott kidnapping plot, and that Nikki got kicked out of the house. One report says that she probably would have left anyway because their marriage was so bad. It seems like the kind of twist that soap opera fans love when the story starts to hint that Victor might be the one to ask her back. The same man who pushed her away may be the one who needs her the most. That's what makes this story so interesting. Victor has been acting like the king of every room he walks into for weeks, especially while trying to get Newman Enterprises back under his control. But the spoilers show that his power trip is starting to clash with family reality. He already made good on a thread, showing that he still has teeth. Nikki was seen using her power of persuasion on Jack instead of standing next to Victor like he wanted. Now the chance of going home is not linked to business success, but to the one thing that even Victor can't control forever: a son in trouble. Nick's spiral is what makes this story go from a marriage crisis to a full-blown family emergency. Spoilers say that Nick went down a dangerous path in Vegas, that he was losing control even though he said he wasn't, and that Matt Clark moved in on him as Nick's behavior got crazier. Another spoiler rundown says that Nick's drug addiction is getting worse every day, and that Matt may have him cornered by Friday. That isn't just bad luck. That a man is getting closer to the edge while someone heartless is getting closer. The Vegas setup makes things even more dangerous because Adam is in the same storm. Spoilers say that Adam and Nick are both going into dangerous situations that could even turn criminal and put their freedom at risk. Matt is capable of anything, so there is a chance of physical danger. Another summary of the spoilers says that Adam accepted his other self and became Spider again. This tells us that the whole Vegas stretch is dark, dangerous, and meant to push both brothers to their limits. Nick is going down, but he is not going down by himself. That's why Nikki is suddenly so important again. The spoilers say that this family problem might be why Victor finally gives in and asks her to move back in so they can deal with it together. Victor might also feel bad about being so focused on his company's war, and his anger toward Nikki that he didn't see how bad Nick's drug problem had gotten. Nikki has a history of alcoholism, so the story could easily make her feel like she should have seen the warning signs sooner and blamed herself. Even when they're mad at each other, that guilt is what makes Victor and Nikki such a good emotional match right now. According to the recent article on Soap Hub, Nikki is mad at Victor for what he did to Jack, but she still instinctively protects him. That is classic Nick-ter. She can know he is wrong, hates what he has done, and still go back to defend the man he loves. If Nick's addiction really needs a family intervention, Nikki might be the only one who can get through to Victor's stubborn heart and help him see past the war he's fighting. The marriage angle is important because the spoilers don't say that Victor and Nikki are suddenly back on solid ground. What they say is more interesting. The relationship is in a bad shape right now, but that could change at any time. and this crisis could be the turning point. That means the show isn't writing a neat reunion. It's writing a crisis that might make two strange spouses remember why they still care about each other, even though one of their sons is falling apart in real time. Nick's secrecy could make things even worse. The serial spoiler says he is keeping something from his loved ones, which makes it seem like this addiction story is more than just bad decisions in Vegas. It has to do with shame as well. Nick might know he needs help, but that doesn't mean he's ready to say it. The longer he hides it, the worse the situation gets. The phrase "spiral out of control" fits this situation perfectly because the story isn't just showing a simple setback. It's showing a pattern that keeps getting worse. Victor may reach his breaking point when he realizes that his usual methods don't work when his family is falling apart. According to the same spoiler coverage, Victor might be the one to give in and ask Nikki to come home when this family crisis gets really bad. For a man who is used to giving orders instead of asking for things, that is a big change in how he feels. In other words, he might finally have to stop acting like the king of Newman and start acting like a father and husband. And Nikki coming home wouldn't just be for comfort. It would be about fixing things. The spoilers say that Nick's problem may eventually need a family intervention and maybe even rehab. This means that everyone will need to be in the same room, agree on what to do, and be willing to admit that this is more important than pride. If Victor does ask Nikki to come back, it could be the start of him and Nikki trying to fix their broken marriage while they're both going through a crisis that neither of them can just outsmart. The show has already set up all the right emotional pieces for that turn. Victor has been careless with his plan to get back at Jack. Nikki has pushed him away. Nikki is clearly in danger, and Adam is already playing with fire in Vegas. The family is broken up in every way. But a Nick addiction crisis could be the one thing that makes Victor see that the Newman family can keep fighting on different fronts. That's why Nikki's return seems so likely now. Not because everything is forgiven, but because the crisis is too big to ignore. It's sad that Nick's downfall could be what brings his parents back together. Victor and Nikki's marriage has been through a lot of fights over the years. And some current spoilers say that what Victor did with Jack pushed Nikki over the edge. But soap operas love this kind of thing. Sometimes the worst family problem is the one thing that makes people remember they're still family. Victor may have to stop fighting and start healing if Nick keeps going down this path. The main point of this story is simple, even though it has a big effects. Victor Newman may be calling Nikki home because Nick is falling apart in Vegas, hiding a worsening addiction, and getting ready for a dangerous fight with Matt Clark. The spoilers say that the crisis could lead to a family intervention, possible rehab, and maybe even the first real step toward fixing Victor and Nikki's marriage. That doesn't mean the damage is done. It means that the damage is finally too big to hide. The Young and the Restless is best at telling stories like that. Victor can threaten Nikki, Nick can try to run away from his problems, and Adam can play dangerous games in Vegas. But the truth always catches up with them. Nikki is going crazy right now. Victor doesn't have much room to move. And Nikki might be the only person who can get the Newmans back together before the whole family goes off the deep end. And this is where the story stops being about power and starts being about fear. Because for once, Victor Newman can't control the outcome. And that's the most dangerous place he has ever been. A man who built his life on winning, now watching his own son slip away. That kind of helplessness changes people, slowly, quietly, but deeply. And when he calls Nikki Newman home, it won't just be a request. It will be an admission that he can't fix this alone anymore. But there's where it gets even more intense. What if it's already too late for Nick Newman to listen? Because addiction doesn't wait. It doesn't pause for family meetings. It keeps pulling until something breaks. And I have to say, this feels like one of those turning points the show doesn't undo easily. Either this crisis rebuilds the Newman family from the ground up, or it exposes cracks that can never be repaired. And if Nikki walks back into that house, will she come back as a wife ready to forgive, or as a mother ready to fight everyone, including Victor? That's the real question. Because saving Nick might mean confronting truth this family has avoided for years. So tell me, do you think Victor is finally changing? Or is this just another moment before he goes back to control and power? And if Nick refuses help, who will break first, the son or the parents trying to save him? My gut feeling, this story is heading toward a moment no one in Genoa City can walk away from unchanged. Something is about to snap, and when it does, the Newmans won't look the same again. Stay with it because the next move could be the one that decides everything.